Okay, people. It's Gatorman sitting up here on top of this tent in the rain. Lovely weather we have it out here at Ella Lorraine Recovery Initiative PMC. But anyhow, we're going to get into what we're here about. We're talking about ammo basics. It's time to cover this. So this is your basic guide explaining what you can expect from different kinds of ammo, how they're going to have effect on your targets, and which is best for which kind of targets and things like that. We're going to cover a lot of that. But I have four. There's basically four types of levels of armor in the game. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, 4 we don't really have to deal with, but we have there. There's there's just ammunition penetrates different depending on what it is, and will have different effects. I've got these rated as pilot level of effectiveness. The least effective against heavily armored subjects is going to be the one at the top. One at the bottom will be most effective, and going downwards. But at the same time, light armored opponents are subject to all of this. They all rip. But the funny thing is the lighter your armor, the less effect the heavier penetration stuff has as it goes through. So there's kind of a give and take effect. You have to determine what your opponents are going to be and what kind of targets you're shooting. If you're shooting heavily armored people, you're going to want to be pulling ammunition from this stack down here in the bottom or from this area. But if they're not so heavily armored, you can go in here or even down in here, depending on how you place your shots. Shot placement is a very critical thing in this game. So just keep that aware. Now, this here shotgun ammunition, I'm going to cover that right quick first because it's the easiest one to do. Double aught buck. Oh boy, this is some good stuff here. It scatters pretty good. It actually gets a pretty decent pattern, about a foot and a half at about 50 meters. And you can do some pretty good damage with them. It's a very effective round on soft targets. On harder targets, it doesn't go through helmets real well. It does pretty good if you can catch them in the legs or the arms. You might be able to kill somebody with this that's wearing heavy armor, but other than that, you're going to have a little trouble. This one, flight control, which is a better version of that, it's got a more focused charge and more of the pellets arrive in the same place. This is deadly out to about 150 meters. And if you shoot them in the face with this, they probably going to get really hurt if they don't die right away. If you shoot them in the armor, it's not going to do so well. But the thing about it is because it's a pattern, there's going to be rounds that stray and hit the peripheral limbs and things. And you're going to put wounds into him. You're going to wound his arms and his legs and his torso and his crotch and maybe his neck. The neck shot could result in a critical wound, and then at that point they die. So this is not too bad. It's pretty effective at low and no armor guys. When you get a little more armor on them, placement of shots makes this round extremely effective. This is a really good round. The shotgun is a really good gun. It's hard to play, and you have to really pay attention to your surroundings in your game when you're playing with a shotgun. But you can run a shotgun and be very effective with it. And the flight control ammunition works really well. But they have slugs as well. Slugs, they won't penetrate a lot of armor, but the lower level guys really hurt, and they cause a really nasty bruise when you hit them with hit armored guys, and it causes them to stop and bend over and slow down, which allows you to run up and get a second shot in the head or something like that. So you do have the option. It's a focus round. It's a single thing comes out, bang, one bullet, no pattern or nothing. It's a straight bullet, and wherever it hits is where it hits. The slugs are very effective. They will put somebody down quickly. If you hit them in the right place, they are done. Shot placement is critical with the slugs, more so than even with the flight control and whatever. But now, moving on to the super slug, they call it the SST, the Sabot round. A Sabot charge means that there's a little spike in the center, about a quarter-inch in diameter, I think is what it is. That it's a 50 caliber, so it's a little tiny spike, right? And it's made to penetrate, okay? And That's what they build, make it for tanks. It's the same thing they used to shoot tanks and penetrate the armor on tanks with. They use the same taper round. Sabot round is discarding sabot. The sabot comes off, and the core, which does the damage, it keeps going. It punches right through, and bam, people are hurting after that. It does a really good job. It's again, you have to be accurate with your shot. If you don't hit them square, it don't work. Okay, this is a deadly round. It penetrates armor-proof vests. Trust me. It'll do a nice job on them. It doesn't, and sometimes it doesn't work as well as you'd like it to. You got to get closer. If you're too far away, it doesn't penetrate as well. Range does affect the efficacy of your shotgun. The closer range with the slugs and stuff works a lot better. Focus charge at further range, they tend to work better because the patterns had a chance to open up a little bit more. But at close range, the focus charge will put 8 pellets right in them in the same spot, and I guarantee you they don't live through that stuff very often. It's pretty wicked. All right, that's the shotguns. All in all, I like a shotgun. Some people don't. That's a matter of taste. Now, let's cover the subsonic ammunition because there's several of them, and the stuff that really doesn't penetrate very well for armor. It doesn't really work on armor worth a darn. And I'm looking for one more here. I had it a minute ago. Where'd it go? Here it is. These ammunitions right here are what they call subsonic. The blackout, the 4.6 SMX, and then, of course, you have this. This is the US 7.62. You will find this looting other guys, and this is a subsonic round. It travels really slow. If you're going around, sneaking around, creeping around at night, trying to hide, being quiet, all that stuff, silencers and all that bully, you should be okay with these. They are not really great killers. And this doesn't really penetrate that well as far as, going through your vests and things. So I wouldn't trust it. The subsonic SX has the same issues. It might be a penetrator, but doesn't penetrate that well. And same for the blackout. This is a matter of when you're trying to sneak around, you want to concentrate on headshots or play some sort of game in PvP where you're trying to be real quiet, don't want nobody to spot you. Maybe that's where your application for this is. I have yet to find an application where it works really well for me. Meanwhile, they don't penetrate that good anyway, so they're at the top of the list of I don't want to use these for anything. Now, then we have the basic ammunition that when you're first starting out, this ammunition will help you out and do you really well if you can get it or use it. The Hydra Shock comes from Gunny. It's not a Gunny ammunition. It's for the 45. This is a man stopper. It works really well. Everybody that's not at level 3 armor, if they don't have level 3 armor or better, this stuff will mess them up really bad. That's the way you go. The full metal jacket here, it's a full metal jacket. It should be down here, but it shouldn't be because it doesn't penetrate that well, so it's up here. These tracers for 9mm. They're not super penetration, but when you're talking about softer armor targets, this works really good. Now, this ammunition right here, most of the AKs sport this stuff, even shooting at your armor stuff. These bullets have a tendency to penetrate for some reason. They're not the best in the world, but they're just big enough to where they can penetrate a lot of your vests and stuff. And just keep that in mind. They will penetrate level 3 plus vests. So just keep that in mind. The 300 blackout, it's a good penetrator. It pizzles out after this is a soft target, 300. I would not use this I would take this into Tiger Bay against armored opponents. I would not do it. I would use the other ammunition, the Action SX, if I was to do that. Where's the blackout? The CQ 300. Or even better yet, the AP 300, which is available. And I don't see it right here. There's an AP 300 that you can get. And I don't have it in here because it's one you have to loot. And I didn't include those in this list because it's not fair to list those. So that's available, but it's where it's got to be. So now we're back to where we got blackout, SP556 tracers. Now, this is the VMAX. It's here. This works really well. This will kill up to 3+. Sometimes it'll get, if it gets headshots outside the armor, it'll kill 3+ or better guys. HP 9.9, 9 millimeter, not going to do much for you. It's a light penetration. You got to put a bunch of them in the guy. Here's your Tracer 7.62 sniper round. I put it low on the penetration scale because it's not that great a round. It does kill. It doesn't really do well on the softer targets, on the harder areas. Then we have the hollow points. This is the hollow point boat tail for the 5.56. This round is a really effective round in Banpa, Fa Lang, Blue Lagoon, and Hunter's Paradise. Once you move out to those, I mean, even the Fa Lang airfield even. But once you move out of those areas, you need to consider something a little more that gets a little better penetration. This SP 5.56, well, it's soft point. It is not the best thing in the world, and it really doesn't penetrate armor. This 7.62 SP, again, it's a different deal, and it penetrates pretty good because it's a bigger, larger bullet, and that's pretty much why it does that. Now these 9 millimeters, these two XPs, this XP Plus Penetrator P, it penetrates pretty good. So it's listed up here. It'll actually penetrate a level 3 armor vest. So will this Libra Snail stuff. These two are pretty. This is a slower round. This one, it's zipping along at 800 meters per second. This goes in your MP5, and it's a really good round. These can also go in your MP5, and it's a really good round. So this is a good addition. When you get your 45 Colt and you want to use some real good armor piercing, they have some armor piercing for it. This right here. And this really works really well. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it goes through almost every armor vest in the game. So it's nice to know that. It's a solid armor piercing bullet. Now, these are probably the standard rounds I run, or that most people run. This is an 855 AP round. I don't usually run those. Well, I do run those actually. That's the one I normally run, 855. And I run these tracers. And I will run the Action SX in my 4.6. And I run the CQ Blackout AAC when I run those. Now these all give good penetration on highly armored targets. That's what they're for. This is what I recommend running when you get to the level where you are using this and you're fighting in those areas. This is not required in Fa Lang, Banpa, Fa Lang Airfield, Hunter's Paradise, Blue Lagoon. You don't need this armor. You don't need that high level of armor piercing. You can get by with this stuff at this level up here. Anything in here. These in this row right here. Okay, you don't need this stuff. When you start getting into Midnight Sapphire, YBL, up into Sawmill, Midnight, Fort Nerith, Tiger Bay, yeah, you might want to consider bringing a little better ammunition, and that's when you get into this level. These are your sniper rounds, the 7.62 51 and the 7.62 51. One is for soft targets, one's for hard targets. But the funny thing is HP boat tail in a 308 is a deadly round. It really works well. For some reason, I don't know why. I've tried it in the M700. I don't like it. The M80 works better in the M700 for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was designed for that. I don't have a clue. But all I know is that the HPT round, when you can afford these, they are really, really brutal. They really work well. But this round here will work just as good. But it's an armor piercer. This is not some armor piercing. You want to make sure you get your headshots with these or soft target shots. Now, comes to the fun part. The full armor piercing stuff. Let's get into the snipers first. The 7.62. You've got a 7.62 sniper round here. That's the 5.4. It goes in the into your Mosins and your SVD. This one, same thing, Mosin SVD. This is the only one that goes into the 308 or the M700. This one goes into the Mosin SVD. All of these will penetrate armor at high levels. Don't you worry about it. You use these, you're going to hurt them. If you hit them in the armor, you're still going to hurt them. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. Even this one, it does the same job. They all spin around. They all travel around 800 plus, 800 meters per second plus. They are not no joke. They will do the job. And these are what you want to, if you find them on an AI, you take these off them, put them in your inventory, and put them in your back in your locker when you get back. So when you are using these weapons, the SVDs and the Mosins, and you will eventually want to try them. You'll eventually find out you'll be able to use those as well. Now, here's your FMJs. There's a lot of FMJ. We got the 300 blackout comes with it. We got the FM 4.6 has it. We got a 5.56 FMJ, 7.6 Browning. This is a pistol. This is pistol ammunition, and I'm not sure which pistol it is. I think it's the T61, or I'm not sure which one it is. I don't remember. But I don't use this pistol. I sell it every time. I buy the ammunition, I sell it. So I can't say, I won't claim anything on that one. So I'm letting you know right up front. That's how I am about it. But there's a 5.45 FMJ. Again, these are all beautiful armor piercers. These will go through. And here's another one. This is the PP. This is a little better than that one. It's called the 7N10. This is a really good penetrator. And that's 5.45. And then let's see, there's another one here, isn't there? No, there's another one, the PS. This is another one, and it's a little less accuracy than the PP. So if you got a choice, you run the 7N10 PP instead of the PS. But these are all lootable off enemies, and you can buy them from the vendor as time passes. But there you got your FMJs. These are all in the bottom column. This is your armor piercing groups. These will do the job. Okay, we've already looked at these and these, and this is the PS. Oh, look, there's a PS version of the 7.62. Imagine that. And now what we have is there's that PS. This one is, oh, it's a nice one. It penetrates really nice. It's a steel bullet. That's what it's called. And then we have the 855 armor piercer. This is the A1. This is the super armor piercing 855. And here's a complimentary. This is the A1 tracer. So this is an armor piercing round as well, but it's got a tracer attached to it. So that could be nice to have. And here's your 4.6 APSX. This round penetrates really well. And when you put this in your MP7, you become a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. Because when you dump a clip into somebody, they pretty much don't like it because it really does a really good number on them. And this will penetrate. I've seen this penetrate every vest in the game. All the armor I've never seen. It does not fail. It works. You just may have to make sure you hold it on target and hit them. And you got to probably nail them a bunch of times. Because you got to realize a 4.6 is a 1.77 caliber. It's a tiny little thing, man. It ain't but maybe 1/8 of an inch across. So it's a little tiny spike. But boy, it comes out of there zipping at 690 meters per second. That's 2,100 feet per second, roughly. That's not coming out slow. It's going to do its job. So you have a really good selection of ammunition. That pretty much, I hope that can clear it up. Remember, you want to use ammunition that doesn't penetrate as well on your softer targets, because that way you do more damage. You take them down quicker. Few rounds will take them down. If it goes in, it expands right away and kills them right away. You don't have to use a second bullet. But if it goes through, it passes through because it goes through an arm and doesn't do nothing, you're done. He's going to shoot you back. Or you have to get up and say, hey, bang, 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 and nail them real quick, run a bunch of rounds in them. So there is your balance on that. Now the balance also is the armor piercers they might take more rounds to kill them because they take narrow channels through the target. The other rounds, they expand a little more. They may cause massive damage as they go through. They're going to do more hydrostatic shock, more damage. The AI is going to fall down. Unless they make some major changes in the AI, they're acting real good when you shoot them. And I recommend shooting for the groin or head. Arm shots aren't bad. If you're looking at it from the side, shoot for the legs or the head or the shoulders, or the head. If they're wearing a helmet, it's not too bad. You can usually pop them with Most any AP round will go through. Some of the soft points will penetrate the helmets. If they're wearing a 2 or better, it might not. But a lot of them are wearing 1s or something, or berets even. So you don't have a problem with that. So just so you know that, that's how that works. But there's armor that they're going to put on, like these vests right here. It's a level 3. If they're not wearing these, they usually wear something like this, which is a mock. That's a 2A, 3A. 3A is definitely not as good as a 3. 3 is is better armor. I'm going to go into armor rating in another mob thing. But right here, see, these guys are running that. But now go over here in Artisan. She's got the gear the enemy's wearing. They're wearing these rigs a lot, these Type 56s or these little helmets that got a level 1. You shoot them in the head, they're done. You can even penetrate them with stuff like this right here. Turncoat, he sells some of their stuff too. But this is like this vest is not too bad. It's a 3. You want to try and get at least level 3. This is a 3+. This is actually a pretty good thing. And I find that if I set up with one of these here, and I go over here to Gunny, and I get one of these here. No, not Gunny, excuse me, Handshake. The Recon vest has 12 slots. The TMR has 9. And the Alice has 8. I prefer the Recon, but it doesn't really matter. I'll take whatever I can get here. And take those. And I put that on and see, like my gear's set up like that. I have the Recon. And I have enough place for my medical bag, some magazines, and I keep my spare ammunition is usually up here. But this is a nice little armor setup because you don't have to change this gear off to replace your armor. If your armor gets hit, you can repair it, buy another armor vest to put it on, and put this one in your locker and repair it. So there are advantages to that as well. But at this particular thing, a juncture, I think we're about done. Remember, your ammunition is very critical. Your choice of ammunition is critical. So, and you really need to keep track of that. I mean, I can show you what each rifle will pick up, ammunition, because we can click on it, and it shows. There's a that's the MCS, the blackout, all the blackout stuff. The Glock, here's the 9mm, it highlights all of that. MP7 highlights these, okay? And you see where the Mosin, it's in the upper range for penetration. M700, again, it's up there. So now we drop the Turncoat, and he's what, AK-12? We're down here with the PPs, the 5.45s. He's got 3 rounds. He's got one that's not so hot. AK-12 again, AK-19. Now we've got a whole range. You got a choice all the way through the spectrum. So you shouldn't have a problem coming up with something. Here we get in the 5.45 category for the 74. Artisan's got SKS, that's 7.62. 7.62's got this one up here. Or this. If you use the 7.62, you're going to find yourself using a lot of this SP ammunition unless you find this to buy this ammunition. The PS, because this works a lot better than this for armor. The 7.62 is not a bad rifle. I personally don't care for it, but there are a lot of people that just love the hell out of it. So I can't say that it's a bad rifle. Now we have the 7.62 for this. There's your Mosin. And here's your SVD. Same ammunition. Here we got the AKM, 7.62 again. You're going to be using a lot of this. I strongly recommend looting it off of bodies. The M4, you got the full range here. Shotgun, full range. MP5, 9mm, first, mid-levels. Fairly effective area. So as you can see, get an idea where the guns are more effective or less effective at because of the ammunition you're using. Now bear in mind that this is the weakest armor. This is the strongest armor at the bottom. And I think you'll find it if you follow this, the way I've set this guideline out, and use your ammunition effectively this way, you will have good results. And we should see you on the battlefield surviving. This is Professor Gatorman signing off.